cetera, so,
And you're seeing the dogs.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I can't tell you, big ones, small ones, you know, I've seen big ones, but I haven't seen any small ones.
Okay.
Have you seen multiple dogs in the cluster yet? Can you see
Yes.
them?
Mrs. Walton described what she saw with 2 large dogs and 1 small dog. What have you seen last year?
Yeah. When I've seen, it looks like 2 large dogs. I haven't seen small dogs, but I wasn't looking for a small dog, 'cause the barking's pretty loud.
I don't know, there's some little dogs that bark pretty loud.
I think it's more annoying.
Anything else from Mr. Diamond? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wants to testify?
I'd like to add to what Larry
Oh,
said. Sorry.
Mrs. Diamond. Name and address,
Judith Diamond, 56 Northridge Drive.
and raise your right hand, please.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I would just like to add that in the beginning, when this first started, we tried to be neighborly. I got in the car and drove over and rang Mr. Crester's doorbell and spoke to him. And the dogs were barking while I was there. Mrs. Walton was with me, and another neighbor went over. He insisted they were barking because I was there. And the reason why I went there is because they were barking so long and so bad. So nobody wants to get to this point that we had to bring this to the Board of Selectmen. I know we certainly didn't, and did try to handle it in a neighborly fashion. So I feel bad that it's gotten to this point, but it needs to be dealt with.
When was it that you made that trip over?
Probably 3 years ago. And I'm not sure what the other woman's name is, but she appeared at my house and rang my doorbell and wanted to argue with me that it's not her dog. One neighbor wants to blame the other neighbor wants to blame the other neighbor. And at one point, her dogs were constantly barking, and they were left out there all day. And I'm a dog lover. I mean, we had a dog for many years. I think it's inhumane to leave dogs out all day long. Some days were very, very hot. And I almost called the Humane Society. That's how much it bothered me. I don't think there's any excuse for leaving animals out all day long, in the winter especially, but also on hot days in the summer. So I have been concerned about the dogs as well.
Have you called the local animal control officer?
Yes, I have, many times. And I too have gotten to the point where, why bother? Nothing is ever done about it. And that's why we're all here tonight. I think if this was dealt with the way it should have been from the beginning, we would not be here tonight.
Any, Mr.
So you didn't find the dog owners to be very receptive to the...
Not in the slightest, either one of them. And the dogs were barking. When we were standing there, I said, don't tell me it's not your dog, listen to them. We hear there was more than one dog, there was several dogs in the small pen. And he insisted that they were only barking because they bark when people are at their door. Well, we were at their door because we were trying to be nice and say, look, could you just bring the dogs in? We weren't there to be argumentative. And I've always found, that's how I've always dealt with things. I try to deal with it on a personal basis before, I certainly didn't want it to get to this level.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else speaking on behalf of the complaining piece?
Arthur Diamond, 32 Northridge.
Raise your hand, please.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Certainly do.
Thank you.
I have never seen either house. I've never seen either set of dogs. But I consider myself an avid outdoorsman in a sense. I walk from my unit to the clubhouse to get the mail and back during the summer months. When we first brought the complaint here, we were told that they'd have the dog officer go over and the barking subsided. And my honest belief, without having seen the dogs, I certainly could tell that they weren't Chihuahuas or Spaniels or something like this. They were big dogs. Like Larry had a Rottweiler there, that weighed about 160 pounds, you know? So, I know what a big dog sounds like, but I mean, and there were multiple locations that were barking. For whatever reason, I doubt it was deer, one of the dogs or one of the penned animals would start to bark, that would initiate the barking of the other ones. And this would go back and forth for hours on end. And we were asked in the beginning there if we'd record them and did that, and we'd keep a record of them or call them into the dog officer, which we did. They subsided, they went way down. Then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 weeks later, we started getting the same scenario again. So we came back, or somebody came back for a second hearing, whatever it was for, and I noticed a reduction again in the barking and stuff. Since I went away in November, late November, I haven't heard the dogs bark at all, on either side, or either part. But prior to that, I could hear the dogs barking again, during the daytime especially. Now, if I go into my unit and close the door, it's basically airtight, I mean, I don't hear them. But if it's in the warmer months or something, anytime you're outside at all, I mean, these dogs are barking for hours. I took the time to clock them and write it down and call it in to the dog report. But I mean, you know, I said, what am I supposed to do? Sit over there every day and record or time the dogs? Which I was doing. But that's how bad. I said, it wasn't 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half an hour. It was hours, stop for 5 or 10 minutes, then something would start them going again. Outside of that, I don't know what to tell you. I've only been there a couple of years, so I don't know what they did prior to that. I just know that there definitely is a problem there with barking dogs, whether they leave them for security or whatever the reason is. It's offensive to everybody else if you have to listen to it. There's no way that you should have to listen to dogs barking for 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours. So, say what I can add to it. Other than I think that's why you had a reduction in, we had a lot of people sign that list originally. Unfortunately, there are a lot of elderly people over there that come out this time of the night during this cold weather is a tough time, and I understand the selectmen have to schedule it when they can. But and a lot of these people have gone to Florida. So, but I mean, if you look at the original petition there for the amount of names that are on there, I think you'll find that there's enough people there that you can call and verify that this is what was going on. But they got frustrated when nothing was done. So, outside of that, thank you for your time, and I hope that we can get this resolved once and for all.
Operator, I have a question for you. Where is your unit in relation to?
The end unit, the one that faces these people's property, is here, at the top of the driveway. There's a unit on the left, and then this next unit, the bottom, was where I am located. So there's no building between me and wherever these dogs are. Now, the only way I could possibly see the house or anything, I would have to walk up this little hill, which is probably the height of this wall here roughly, and stand at the top of the hill. And then there's no buildings, nothing in front of me, it's just woods, you know. But I never did take the time to walk. I could just listen, because when I'd be up at the clubhouse, the same thing. I'd turn and I could hear dogs barking at 2 different locations. And I mean, if I was a betting man, I would stake my butt on the fact that they were German Shepherds barking at German Shepherds. There was 2 sets of dogs that were doing the barking, 90% of the time. Because I heard other dogs up there bark, but they were always smaller dogs or different voices on them, you know? Outside of that, that's it. Thank you.
Anyone else want to testify? Mrs. Walton, you,
One comment.
to the
About-
podium.
Yeah. I just have one comment about some of the things that were talked about. Someone was asked if we could see any dogs. I can tell you, I think I said it before, in the wintertime, last year, the year before, I could see the Cresta's dogs, and I could see them barking when they barked. Can't tell you in the summertime, but I know in the wintertime, I could see them. So,
In the notes that I took when you were speaking, testifying, you said 2 large dogs and 1 small dog.
that was, I saw them last year. This year, 2009, when the leaves started to fall, I could see one dog back there, a big dog. It wasn't a lot of time before I saw the dog and it stopped. So I know last year and the year before, there were definitely German Shepherds barking in that pen back there, because I could see it and hear it at the same time. This year, it stopped, the whole thing stopped. So, but I just wanted to say that I could see those dogs there.
Mr. Vino,
Approximately how far is that pen from where you're looking, distance-wise?
300 or 400 feet, according to the drawings.
Football field?
That's what we saw last week, right?
Yes, this is where we are. This is where
Yeah, but I mean, my question is, what is
It
that
was
distance?
about 300
Is
to
it-
400 feet, Joe, as I recall
Is it
from
two
last
football
week.
fields, is it more? More than that?
I'd say about 400 or 500 feet in that, I guess.
Well, I've been just told it's more than two football fields, which is 600 feet, so it's more than that?
I think we measured it last time.
Talking
as-
from over here, approximately over here. Where's Bruce? He's over here.
It was the scale on the drawing we had last week.
It's from here to here.
Yeah.
Well, that Google is the scale also.
Yeah,
Google,
yeah, I think it was around 400 feet.
That's what I'm
500 feet.
asking.
That's what it was on the drawing.
I think the
I
dog,
heard
I
Drawing.
believe the dog owner will introduce documents.
Okay.
Can I just show you what we can see from our backyard? This is a picture I took the other day.
And that- These vertical lines here is the pen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can see it.
Now, is that from your home, or is that from the edge of the property?
No, it's kind of like the edge of our,
Property.
maybe 8 feet from our back door, 9 feet, with my camera.
So it's from your backyard?
Yeah.
Does counsel for the dog owner see this? I think they should have an opportunity to see it.
That's not 400 feet, all right.
Well, it can be with a zoom lens, sure.
Well, the trees
Yeah,
would be
before-
big on that.
Which way's up? There you go, the branches grow up.
There a problem?
Thank you.
If you want it that fine, I just,
We see that here.
Yes.
See it.
So we'll mark it as Exhibit 1. Anyone else want to testify? If not, I'd like to hear from the dog, a report from the dog officer. Jerry? Good evening, Jerry.
How you doing?
Would you raise your right hand?
Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I think you should state his name.
Well, you got
position.
here. Basically tell you the same stuff.
Jerry, would you state your name and position?
Name and
I'm sorry.
position, secretary.
I am, Animal Control Officer Jerry Berg, Jerry, B-E-R-G.
could you speak up, you can't hear. Speak up.
That won't help.
That
That's
doesn't
for
help, Jerry.
the TV.
Oh. Okay. I'm basically gonna tell you guys the same stuff I told you last week. Monday, November 30th, 2009, Chief Edward Nolan requested a supplemental report in regards to Northridge Drive, Spruce Road barking dog situation from this office. We have received 3 complaints on the barking dog situation since the barking dog mediation meeting on September 22nd, 2009 at the Police Department with Selectman Sean Delaney. We have attached 3 highlighted reports. And it's the call numbers 096608, 0966.